A little under a year ago, a meme emerged on the internet that no weeb worth their own salt could escape, lurking around on every corner of Reddit, TikTok, and especially Twitter. The point of this meme essentially boiling down to astronomical levels of glazing beyond any semblance of logic. A manga with so much satirical hype, it was being placed amongst the likes of the big three and frankly, every anime and manga ever created. And all that hype was generated before Chapter 1 even released. And that manga, of course, is Kagurabachi. It was on September 10th that a colored image of Chihiro Rokuhira, the main character of Kagurabachi, was released. A meme was promptly created on Twitter 3 days later on September 13th, where the argument was being made that Kagurabachi was better than Boruto. A claim made before the first chapter was even released on September 18th. After slowly gaining some traction from that point, the meme known as Kagurabachi glazing took off from there. From that point, anime fans took to social media to claim that Kagurabachi was the greatest thing to ever exist just a few days before the official release of the manga. With the manga having 42 chapters available to read right now and a little under a year of weekly serialization in Shonen Jump, I think it's an appropriate time to revisit the once inescapable meme in Kagurabachi and see if it has any merit. I'll be examining the overall delivery of the story, the characters, the artistic design, and the power system. I'll need to dive into some general plot points, so there will be some minor spoilers for the manga about the first 5 chapters. That way I can truly judge if it's worth the read or just a meme. The first thing you'll see when you open this manga is a full-color cover spread of Chihiro bisecting a man and dismembering 2 others with his katana. An intro demonstrating that Kagurabachi will be no stranger to graphic scenes of gore. We immediately get a peek into 15-year-old Chihiro training under his dad, Konoshige Rokuhira, a man known as the most famous blacksmith in all of Japan, a name that doesn't come without good reason, as we'll find out here shortly. It is with his dad that Chihiro trains every day to be a great blacksmith like his father. Konoshige teaches his son not to take blacksmithing lightly, because as the makers of katana, they are complicit in the lives they take, and he believes that katanas are tools for killing that should be wielded by those protecting the weak. A lesson Konoshige Rokuhira learned when he created the 6 enchanted blades that are credited with ending the Saitai War 15 years ago. The blade that Chihiro uses is unknown to the world, and the 7th blade his father created after the war. These 7 blades act as Kagurabachi's 7 Dragon Balls, not because they grant wishes, but because they grant you great power, and it's the main character's job to reclaim the other 6. Not to mention there's something that everybody kinda wants to get their hands on. What do I mean by reclaim? I mean the dad made the katanas, he has the katanas, what does that mean to reclaim them? Well, that is because our time with Konoshige is actually rather short, because he gets murdered by a group of sorcerers who steal the other 6 enchanted blades. So if sorcerers exist, it's obvious that sorcery also exists. Sorcery is the main power system in Kagurabachi. So what exactly is sorcery in the series? Well, it's the manipulation of spirit energy, something that every human has within them. Spirit energy can be used to enhance your physical stats, create objects, or use a variety of supernatural abilities known as sorcery. Those who learn to master the manipulation of the spirit energy are known as sorcerers. Going back to the enchanted blades, the enchanted blades are exactly what made Konoshige Rokuhira the world's most famous blacksmith. What makes these weapons so special is the fact they are the only weapons imbued with sorcery. Sorcery is so powerful, the sorcerers who fought in the Saitan War all credit the blades with ending the same war. And with that, we have our story's premise. Chihiro's main goal is to get back the other 6 enchanted blades and really cut down anyone who stands in his way. Overall, the plot is simple and straightforward, but I must admit it's a rather compelling premise. I think the motivations for Chihiro make sense, and it's not hard to imagine why he would want to go back and collect these other 6 enchanted blades. So with the plot centered around these 6 enchanted blades, it creates a lot of factions that have an interest in getting these blades. You have Chihiro and his crew, you have the government with their own group of elite sorcerers, you have the sorcerer group Hashaku, and really anyone else that wants to get their hands on these enchanted blades. I would say the overall plot and motivations clicking together well is one of the strongest points in this series. And the story is fairly fast paced, so if you hit a dull moment, you won't be there for very long. That said, if you're looking for something extremely thought-provoking, you're most likely not going to find that in this manga. At least not where it's currently at. I do think the series lacks a little with the character writing. Chihiro is a character with depth as we see him try to work through his trauma concerning his father, and he's very loving for the people that he cares about around him. But personality-wise, he's a few notches above a conscious potato. Not to mention the blank face he often seems to be sporting and the really flat character design of a lot of the characters' faces. I understand that seeing your father get killed might make you a bit stoic, but that does not make him an interesting character to see on screen. I mean, it's not horrible, it's just tropey. He wouldn't be the first stoic, hatred-filled anime character by any means. Other than Chihiro, we have Mr. Shiba, a man who truly does resemble a Shiba Inu. He's a very skilled sorcerer, specifically with his teleportation technique that we see him use pretty early on. There's also Hanao, a woman that describes Japan as a katana society. This is due to the fact that owning a katana is perfectly legal in Japan for self-defense, making it, in her words, all the more dangerous. This is exactly the reason why she owns a cafe that connects sorcerers with Yakuza and big corporations, seeking to hire on extra protection. I like both of these characters' personalities. Mr. Shiba is a more laid-back, comical character who can get serious when necessary, and Hanao's a more light-hearted, bright personality who kind of acts like a fangirl. While I do think the character faces look a bit bland, the environment and the backgrounds are absolutely gorgeous. There's also some really dark, gruesome, and twisted imagery at times, all of which I think are fairly beautifully drawn. It has a similar feel of dark zaniness that you're used to seeing in Chainsaw Man, where you can see something really bizarre and graphic at the same time. The power system is also fairly straightforward. You either have sorcery or katana, or a mix of both being the main source of combat. It is very clearly established that the enchanted blades are the pinnacle of strength, with sorcerers being right below that. But it's not exactly a small gap between the two, with the enchanted blade wielder being able to take out multiple sorcerers at the same time. I really like the idea that pretty much anyone could be a sorcerer if they really wanted to. They just have to train incredibly hard and master the manipulation of their spirit energy. And because everyone could technically do it, but it's exceedingly difficult, it makes being a sorcerer just that much more special. In fact, Tokyo has the highest concentration of sorcerers with just 1,000 in total. What's cool about the sorcery in this show is you see a lot of unique abilities. You have the Shadow Clone Jutsu, you have this guy that explodes the Rama, mind control, and many other abilities. Just like in Jujutsu Kaisen, the type of sorcery you're able to use is innate to you as a person. But if you have two people in the same bloodline, it is possible for them to have the same type of sorcery. Due to the variety of threats that they deal with, we do have to see the characters think through the fights, which I personally find extremely entertaining. The manga does a good job of explaining its power system without getting too intricate, so it's at a lot less risk of being contradictory towards itself. And even though it is simple, the fights are really fun and have a lot of variety. I think Kagurabachi has a lot of solid elements altogether. The characters are fine for the most part, but nothing putting them far above any other characters in the shonen genre. The plot has a compelling premise and gives all the characters an interesting and valid reason to justify their action. I'd say that's something Kagurabachi does pretty well. While there are a few standout character designs, I don't think the faces and general designs of a lot of the characters are anything to write home about. So with all these factors in mind, we're right back with the question we started with. Is Kagurabachi worth the read, or is it just a meme? I'd say if you're a fan of shonen manga and you want something a little darker and edgier, it absolutely is worth the read. It may not literally be the best thing I've ever read or even in my top 5, but damn did I enjoy reading what they got out so far. And that is going to do it for today's video. If you liked the video, please leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more uploads, and I will see you on the next one.